365 Sports.
The Kansas City Chiefs have made 2 signings, and we've got so much more to talk about with the latest injury report as we upcome on the final practice for the Chiefs ahead of their matchup with the Tennessee Titans, and so much more to go over here on the Chiefs Report, a part of 365 Sports. I'm Jace Andrews. We appreciate you either watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Music or Spotify, whatever way you consume our content. We appreciate making us part of your day-to-day life, and there's so much to go through today that it's going to be a lot on the brain. So rear up, get back. I'm going to get you everything you need to know as far as injuries go for both the Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans heading up into their matchup this upcoming Sunday. Plus, we also talk about the latest on the Kansas City Chiefs rosters. Yesterday, I talked to you about how I expected the Chiefs to start trying out players as soon as now. Well, they did exactly that. They didn't just try out players. They also signed 2 of the players they tried out as well. We'll get you all the information you need right here today on the Chiefs Report. So without further ado, let's snap into it here with the Chiefs injury report and kind of going through that first. That's obviously a very big thing to go over and to talk about, and we're going to go right through that now. So lots of injuries. I don't want you to be too scared by this. Obviously, given the Chiefs season is where it is, you don't need to be too worrisome about really any of these injuries for the most part, but a lot of them are on the injury report with full participation at practice. All that means is that with the NFL, you are required / regulated to put out your quote unquote injury status for every single player. It doesn't matter if they are a full participant at practice or a limited participant or a non-participant. If they have any type of injury, they have to be labeled on the NFL's injury report. Otherwise, it's a violation and could cause serious fines. Obviously, the Chiefs trying to avoid that. So we'll start at the top with the more worrisome injuries as we see them. Leo Chenal, the linebacker, very, very good this season. A shoulder injury has kept him out of practice, not just yesterday, but also here on Thursday as well. We'll get the full status on Friday and the game status for him as to whether or not we expect to see him out there on the field. Given the non-participation here on Wednesday and Friday, I highly doubt that he is playing unless he somehow is a full participant tomorrow. The only thing I could say as to why he would play, given the situation of the Kansas City Chiefs, is that he wants to play because he is a free agent after the season. He is trying to earn the money, whether it be from Kansas City or from a different team. He's going to be out there and prove that he can play through injury and prove that he is a good linebacker, which he's proven enough for the Chiefs. But either way, I think that that might be the one thing where if he's a limited participant tomorrow, he'll try and push to play. But given the Chiefs, and if they do plan on having him long-term, they probably will hold him out and specify maybe with that. Some other injuries and some big names on the top of the list as well. Trent McDuffie, he was a non-participant on Wednesday. Today was a limited participant at practice. Obviously, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, or at least one of the most underrated, in my opinion. I don't think he's talked about nearly enough as some of the other guys. I mean, I would argue he's better than Ahmad Gardner. We're not going to call you Sauce if you can't compete like a Sauce Gardner. So I think it's a very good thing for Trent McDuffie. Jalen Moore, offensive lineman. He was a non-participant with a knee injury both yesterday and today here on Thursday. And that one strikes me as interesting / concerning for a couple of different reasons. The first one being that, guess what? Kansas City is very injured on that defensive line. They need to have all their ducks in a row, all their pieces in order as best as humanly possible. And not just because they want to keep this offensive line healthy, but I don't want to go past Gardner Minshew. As much as I want to sit here and say that losing wouldn't be a bad thing for us because of the draft order, and I stand by that take that losing is probably the better thing for the Chiefs organizationally, I still believe that you shouldn't go past Gardner Minshew. We don't need to be bringing out no third-string quarterback with the situation or going off and signing quarterbacks. That's not the time to do that. Protect Gardner Minshew as much as possible. And if I'm Andy Reid, I'm telling, hey, you feel pressure, throw it. Like just throw. I'm not here in the injury game, not here to get with it. And Jalen Moore being a big part of that offensive line with the injuries now, non-participation is a tad bit scary. Also, concussion issued for Rashee Rice in that protocol. Non-participant yesterday and today. I don't think they're going to play him. He's still under contract, obviously, with the Chiefs. The plan is to keep him long-term, obviously, for majority of different reasons. But I would have to argue that that is not going to be somebody the Chiefs push. Again, if he clears concussion protocol tomorrow, it's a very easy full participation at practice and he can play on Sunday, but they're not trying to push the agenda here with Rasheed at all. He's taken a lot of hard hits this year. Let's be honest. Taking a lot of hard hits wouldn't be all that bad for him to take a day. Speaking of the offensive line and their issues, Jawan Taylor, a tackle, elbow, non-participant Wednesday and Thursday at practice. Really not something I like for so many different reasons. I, again, want to be very clear when the offensive line is in such a struggling place right now that it's not something that I would like for the Chiefs to worry about, to have to go out and sign people. That's, again, though, why they maybe did some practice squad signings / some tryouts this day, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment as well. But again, it's really just principle at this point. I'm not going to say that Patrick Mahomes was hurt because the offensive line was terrible. Not what it is. The offensive line's been pretty good all season, but ultimately, when you go toward the back end on him having to run a lot, it could attribute to that. Going through the last little bit of the non-participants here, Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver, obviously signed him this offseason, but a wonder this really all year. He's also in concussion protocol as a non-participant both on Wednesday and today here on Thursday. Same thing as Rashee Rice. They're going to proceed with caution, but the concussion protocol is a good and bad thing where if you can't clear it, you're not going to play. But if you clear it, you're pretty much good to go as soon as you were cleared. So that's all they're really waiting for on that. And now kind of rapid firing here, the last little bit. Lots of these, again, full participation guys just on the injury report with certain reasons. Big one that I think, Jake Bridenstue, a tight end that really could see some time and kind of a passing of the torch scenario here with Travis Kelce. He's on the injury report right now. He's got a hamstring little issue. Marquise Brown, wide receiver, has had it's a non-football related injury. It's personal reasons. He was full participant though on Wednesday and on Thursday. Brian Cook, safety, shoulder injury, full participant both days. Same could be said with Mike Edwards, the safety who was signed off the practice squad a couple weeks ago, full participant in practice both days. Christian Fulton, the quarterback, knee injury, full participant both days. Noah Gray, tight end, shoulder injury. He's a full participant in both days. Chris Jones on the injury report. Now, he is not a full participant in both days. In fact, he was a limited participant in both days with a hamstring injury that he has supposedly been nursing for a bit now, but now, obviously, with the season is where it is, they're not going to push him too hard given the contract he's on. The defensive tackle has not been as maybe active as you would have liked to see him, and as we have seen him in past seasons. That being said, he still can go out there and compete every single day, and really do hope that we can see him out there on the field. Given his, call him, effort issues in the early part of the season, I really want to see him fight to get on there and fight to play, and just more of a mindset than anything. It's not about going out there and having 17 sacks. Like, I don't care about that. I care about him wanting to be on the football field with the Chiefs, wanting to play, wanting to compete. And that's more where my mindset goes with all this. Now, going back to the injury report, Nico Remigio, the wide receiver with a knee injury, full participation in both days. Trey Smith, the guard, is dealing with a nagging ankle injury. However, he was a full participation in both days. Juju Smith-Schuster, lots of wide receivers on here. He's got a rib injury he's working through. Full participation, though, in both days. No worry there. The last one, something that is also a tad bit concerning. Derek Nottie, defensive tackle, he is dealing with an illness, and that was a non-participant today. Good news, bad news is illnesses are very easy for players to, have on Wednesday or Thursday and play and be fine on Sunday. The bad news behind that is if he doesn't play, because Nomar Ormanlott obviously is gone. The defensive line hasn't been as good as it should be in so many different facets, specifically in the sack department. They've been able to apply the pressure, but not able to actually, have that pressure amount to anything. Nottie has been really good in the time he's been on the field. Again, was not even on the injury report yesterday, but appeared on it today as a non-participant because of an illness. Didn't get any major quotes from Reed or from Coach Steve Spagnuolo on this, and I doubt we will. Maybe potentially we'll get the updates tomorrow to see whether or not he is going to be available to play on Sunday versus the Tennessee Titans, or what kind of goes along with that. But overall, little concern for most of these guys on the injury report. As I mentioned, as you kind of heard, it was a lot of guys who were just on the injury report because they had to be on the injury report. Really, no other reason behind that. So just something to watch out for with a couple of different guys. Obviously, the main ones that I'm watching for tomorrow's practice, Leo Chenal, Rashee Rice, Tyquan Thornton, and Jawan Taylor are the main ones. Derek Nottie, obviously, a pretty close second on that list in terms of the guys that I'm watching on his tier. But overall, not terrible. Again, at this point in the season, I care more about health than anything else, and so keep everybody healthy. Don't get anybody injured. Don't do anything like that. Let's avoid that at pretty much any and all cost. Now let's talk about the Tennessee Titans injury report here as well, because that is something that obviously affects the Chiefs in a huge way, and got some interesting things. And I'll kind of do my best to articulate how important this player is and the injury is to certain players. So we'll first start with Jalen Moore Davis, the quarterback. He is dealing with an Achilles injury. I believe it was Achilles tendonitis is what they were saying. And again, don't call me on that, but that's what I heard. Limited participant on Wednesday and on Thursday. Gay, he is a linebacker who has a knee injury with limited participation on both Wednesday and Thursday. And their linebacker pretty shot up here. They also have Cedric Gray with a concussion, who has been a non-participant on Wednesday and Thursday. And not that, again, I'm going to get this name wrong. I do not say this one a lot. Olafemi Oldegio, or whatever it is. He's also a linebacker, has a fibula injury. He's been a limited participant in both days at practice. But going to the big injuries that would rightly so affect the Kansas City Chiefs, Amani Hooker. He is a very good safety that is dealing with an illness that has kept him out of practice, not just on Wednesday, but also on Thursday as well. If they don't have to deal with him, that gives Gardner Minshew a little bit of an easier play on the Tennessee Titans in the way they can handle that. Van Jefferson, also a pretty big part of that team, a wide receiver who is dealing with a back injury, non-participation on Wednesday, limited participant on Thursday here today. And then going down the list there, one of their upper tier guards, Kevin Zeitler, dealing with a groin injury, non-participant yesterday, was a limited participant yesterday, or rather today, I should say. But the big one that is not as big as it looks, but the biggest name on this list, Jeffrey Simmons, he was a non-football related rest day yesterday, had a limited participant with it, and then today he was a full participant at practice. One of the better defensive tackles in all of the NFL, and by far the best player as it stands right now on the Tennessee Titans. Do also have their tight end, Chigo Okonkwo. He was also on a rest day yesterday as a limited participant and was a full participant at practice today. Offensive lineman Dan Moore, neck injury, full participant both days. So nothing really on this is like, oh, crazy, but Gunnar Helm is also a tight end, and that's why I mentioned Okonkwo, because Helm, he actually was a limited participant in both days. He's their backup tight end. Might remember that name. He was a guy who played at Texas, so making his way from the Lone Star State into the I believe it's the 13-star state. I don't know. Tennessee has a certain amount of stars on their flag, but either way, doesn't matter. Gunnar Helm is with the Titans, and he is a limited participant in both days, and that's something to watch for Chiefs fans, just specifically because Okonkwo with that rest day. Who knows how they kind of owe that, but Gunnar Helm has been actually a very valuable piece for them over this season, so definitely something to watch for. But again, the big injuries for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's their offensive line. It's the fact that Trey Smith, along with having Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor on that list, is just tough when you've already lost so many offensive linemen, and Wanya Morris is officially out for the rest of the year. It's just every time it feels like the Chiefs are like getting back to a healthy state, getting back to normal, at least getting back to a place where maybe you feel comfortable. Something strikes, something hits, and immediately you're like, that sucks. So hopefully this is the week where nothing goes wrong, but I don't know. The way this season is going, I'm just expecting freaking Gardner to go out there and be hurt or something and have to go to a third-string quarterback, and just not what I'm looking forward to. The Titans are not a good team. I understand that draft position is good, but I also understand that I'm a fan of football and a fan of the Chiefs, and would be really embarrassed if our team, who was at the Super Bowl last year and has been there for many years in the past decade at this point, if we lost to the Tennessee Titans. That'd be pretty bad and pretty tough for me to take. So let's not do that. Let's go out there. Let's win. Hopefully we can get some injury statuses tomorrow and that are a lot better than this, but at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. For now, though, we're going to take a quick break here on To the Chiefs Report, and we'll be right back with more talking about the signing the Chiefs made, or rather say 2 signings, and the tryouts they had, plus what's next for this roster as we go and look at the post-Patrick Mahomes 3 games here and what the plan is for next season given the cap space issue. So all that and more coming up next here on the Chiefs Report.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story: The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion-resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Welcome back here to the Chiefs Report, a part of 365 Sports. I'm Jace Andrews, and talked a little bit today about the injury report for both the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs, with what's just one day of practice left tomorrow on Friday. That being said, though, there was some interesting roster moves for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let's start off on this foot. The Kansas City Chiefs tried out 10 different players yesterday. Yeah, 10 different players for tryout yesterday. Interesting enough. And I kind of told you that might happen, but let's kind of look as far as any recognizable names that we see slash kind of what we know from these guys. So according to the NFL's personnel notice for Tuesday, December 16th, the Chiefs hosted 10 players for tryouts. They hosted 2 linebackers, Cam Arnold and Michael Barrett. Michael Barrett's a guy that I've heard before. Can't tell you too much about him, though. They hosted 6 defensive backs with B.J. Adams, Derek Forrest, Lamarion Jones, Jalen Mahoney. Is that? Mahoney. Trying to find their new Mahomes, I guess. Cam Smith and Tanner McAlister. Now, heard of Cam Smith before, been an NFL guy, but Tanner McAlister, interestingly enough, played for Oklahoma State and also played for Ohio State in his college career, was kind of undervalued, but now maybe could play with the Kansas City Chiefs. I highlight some of these names on purpose. I'll tell you that. I'm highlighting some of these names on purpose. They also hosted 1 offensive lineman with Nick Broeker. Broeker is the name. The most eye-popping player they had in for tryouts was former Seattle Seahawks Damian Martinez, who they had previously had a pre-draft visit with this year. The team signed 2 players they hosted for tryouts, but some of the other players may land on reserve/future deals with the team later this week. Now, in case you're probably sitting here wondering, future deal, what does future deals mean? Well, I kind of mentioned it yesterday in the podcast, so if you want to go back and listen to that, for sure, go check it out later part of the episode for sure. But basically what it means is a future contract is the Chiefs are trying all these players out, and future contracts are when we open our 90-man roster, we want you to be a part of it. And we're signing you so that when that 90-man roster comes to fruition, you'll immediately be added to that roster. And so that's what a future contract is. Again, that's something that I think is intriguing for the Kansas City Chiefs for a multitude of different reasons, for all these players going out there and the way they can compete, the way they can go out and overall just make basically kind of the season work. We know the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be in a very weird spot next year with $30 million in the hole, and it's not something that any team wants to be a part of. This is how they can kind of avoid that, or at least avoid some of the problems with that, by signing players to future contracts. Again, like 36 players are actually on contract past the 2025 season. You need like 60 players to fill your 90-man roster. You're going to have to sign some people, and they're going to have to be pretty cheap when it comes to cap space and kind of all that. Obviously, you can cut down and stuff, but still, it's something now. Speaking of the 2 signings, though, let's go to that right here. The first one they signed was offensive lineman Nick Broeker for the practice squad. He was a former 7th-round pick out of Ole Miss by the Buffalo Bills back in the 2023 NFL Draft. However, he spent a majority of his time with the Houston Texans. 6'4", 305 interior offensive lineman, 12 games with the Texans in 2023 and 2024. He spent the 2025 offseason with the Steelers, though he didn't make it past the 53-man roster cutdowns. The Cowboys actually claimed him briefly on waivers before he returned to the Bills practice squad in September. He's been on there for pretty much the whole season until December 9th, in which he was then released from the practice squad. The other guy they signed, I highlighted him for a reason, Tanner McAlister, the safety, former undrafted free agent in 2023 out of the Ohio State University. 5'11", 191, got an NFL start with the Cleveland Browns. Most of the 2023 season was on their practice squad. However, he was promoted to the active roster for 3 games, mainly appearing as a special teams guy, as one does with the UDFA. 2 tackles in 2024, had some time with the Denver Broncos, was on a reserve/futures deal in a practice squad, 3-game stint, bunch of different stuff with him. Had the Jets at one point. He is now going to be on the practice squad and a replacement for Mike Edwards in that safety slot on the practice squad, knowing that Mike Edwards had to be signed to the active roster. So 2 guys they signed right there to fill back out their practice squad. But again, the big question is, what does this mean moving forward? Well, it means exactly what I mentioned. They have to fill out 90 people on their active roster or on their all-season roster. And right now, 36 players are actually signed past the 2025 year. Now, do these guys who get practice squad signings mean they're going to be here on reserve/future deals/be here when that 90-man roster does come to fruition? Not necessarily, but it's a pretty good indictment that they are intrigued by the talent the Chiefs are, and that they will be out there and obviously try and develop them into something. At worst, they're a practice dummy, and you got people to have for training camp when that comes along next season and kind of all that stuff. So lots of stuff with that to think about and to understand. But overall, I do like both these signings with the offensive linemen, knowing the injuries that are at, as I mentioned, with offensive line and the front. Very tough for the Chiefs to handle right now. Gets a little easier when you have some practice squad fillings. He is, interestingly enough, that Nick Broeker, replaced CJ Hansen, who was promoted off the 53 to the 53-man roster with Wanya Morris's injury and him being placed on IR, opening up that 53-man roster slot. So obviously, in a lot of ways, the tryouts were looking at guys, but they were also looking at, hey, we've got 2 slots that we just had to call up from our practice squad to our active roster because of injuries. We got to go out there and we got to get guys who can now fill those spots. And they did exactly that. So that's what we got for you here today on the Chiefs Report. If you ever want to, check me out on Twitter at JaceAndrews_. Ask me any Chiefs questions. Ask me any questions about the NFL. I'm always here, always interactive, always fun time to talk with everybody who listens and follows along. So I do want to say I really appreciate every single one of you. And we're going to keep going with this channel. I'm going to keep boosting it, going to keep going with the podcast and be ready for it. The offseason, it's going to be fun. I know the Chiefs haven't really had an offseason like this in a while. We're going to make the most of it. So we appreciate you watching or listening on Apple Music or Spotify. Once again, to remind you, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you are listening on Apple Music or Spotify, follow me, follow this channel, follow the Chiefs Report. We're going to be putting you in the know about everything Kansas City Chiefs related. For now, those guys, we're going to see you tomorrow on Friday. We'll get you the injury statuses for a bunch of players as long as we get those at a certain time. Also, we will also get a bunch of different updates for you for the Kansas City Chiefs and any news that transpires tomorrow / maybe a look ahead to the offseason. We'll see. We appreciate you listening or watching. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report. For now, go guys. Peace out.
365 Sports.